Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm making a coffee-crusted bone-in veal chop with Cowboy Caviar. This video is sponsored by Veal Discover Delicious, which is funded by beef farmers and ranchers and the Pennsylvania Beef Council. Recently, I had the incredible opportunity to learn a lot about veal. Not only did I take 2 virtual farm tours to learn all about how veal is produced, but I also learned about the versatility of veal and how easy it is to prepare. So this was all very new to me. I don't know about you, but I grew up with a very negative impression of the veal industry and I basically never ate it. I was so happy to learn though that since the mid-2000s, over $150 million have gone into upgrades across every single veal farm and production facility in the United States. Every facility is clean, it's spacious, and the animals are treated well. So despite what you or I may have heard in years past, the veal industry is thriving under the best conditions. And thank goodness, because veal is totally delicious. If you've never cooked with veal, it's very mild in flavor and incredibly tender, and it can be used in all kinds of recipes. So 9 years ago, when I had my oldest son, Jack, my sister came and visited just to kind of help me out around the house, and she made these unforgettable coffee-crusted steaks. Today, I'm recreating that recipe, but instead of steak, I'm using a bone-in veal chop. And to go along with it, I'm making what's called Cowboy Caviar, which is a flavorful and fresh bean and corn salad. Let's get started. For the Cowboy Caviar, I started with 1 12-ounce bag of frozen sweet corn that I defrosted, and I added in 2 cans of black beans that I had drained and rinsed. Next, I diced up 2 vine-ripened tomatoes, and you can see here I scraped out the seeds on the inside just so they weren't too wet. Then I diced up several red and orange little baby bell peppers. This is just what I had in my fridge, but you could do 1 red bell pepper and 1 orange bell pepper, or whatever color you'd like. It's just fun to try and pick all different colors of vegetables for the salad because it makes it really pretty in the end. Speaking of color, next I'm dicing up a red onion. So I did the entire thing and just diced it very finely. Lastly, for more fresh flavor, I added about a half a cup of chopped cilantro. This salad has a really delicious dressing. It starts with half a cup of olive oil and then a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. I season this with a pinch of kosher salt and black pepper. Next, I added half a teaspoon each of chili powder, cumin, and garlic powder. For a little sweetness, I added 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then I finished this with the juice of 1 lime. Then I whisked everything together and poured it all over my veggies. I stirred everything together and then covered it and refrigerated it for a couple hours before serving. I just think this is best because then all the vegetables get to marinate in that tasty dressing. The great thing about Cowboy Caviar is that you can use it as a side dish, a little veggie salad, or it can be a dip for tortilla chips. Next, I'm making the dry spice rub for my bone-in veal chop. So this starts with 1½ teaspoons of chili powder, 1½ teaspoons of instant coffee. I used a half a teaspoon of brown sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of dry mustard. Also a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a little pinch of black pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I whisked this all together with a fork, making sure to break up that brown sugar as I stirred. Here are the beautiful veal chops, and if you can't find veal in your local grocery store or meat market, you can ask the butcher to order it for you, or you can easily source it online. I patted mine dry on both sides with a paper towel and then generously sprinkled the dry rub all over both sides and pressed it in a little bit with my fingers too so it would stick. I had my oven-safe nonstick skillet preheating over medium-high heat, and I added in about a tablespoon of olive oil and then placed the veal chops inside. I cooked them just for about 1.5 minutes on each side until a nice golden crust had formed, and then I finished these in the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 minutes. The USDA recommends that you cook your veal chops to an internal temperature of at least 145 degrees, and keep in mind that I'm currently pregnant, so I'm typically cooking my beef a little bit longer than that. So here's the finished meal. We have the Cowboy Caviar, which is very vibrant in color and also flavor, and then this gorgeous bone-in veal chop with the coffee crust. And you can see here cutting into it, it's super tender and juicy. It had great flavor from that dry rub, and I highly recommend you try this recipe. Thank you so much to Veal Discover Delicious and the Pennsylvania Beef Council for sponsoring me in today's video and also for teaching me so much about veal. For more information, you can visit their website, veal.org. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at Ann's Family Recipe, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked today's recipe. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with more family recipes.